Count to 3. Blink once. In the blink of an eye, faster than 2 video frames, the heavens appeared to clone themselves. A single green visitor turned into a pair orbiting close to Mars. Every telescope that pivoted quickly captured the ghostly echo of an instant we missed entirely. If that doesn't shake you, the data points surely will. It began as a blurry spot. The Ziki Transient Observatory scanned its field, just a handful of arcseconds from the forecasted route of 3I Atlas. A dim speck persisted in a spot where nothing ought to appear. A single frame? That's noise. Twice? Mere chance. But 3 times, with identical shift and velocity. That challenges everything we thought we knew. Experts at the Minor Planet Center dove into positional data, recalibrated star centroids, cleared faulty sensor spots, and verified timestamps. NASA's early warning system elevated it from possible anomaly to priority alert. By morning in Chile, the big scopes stirred to life. Gemini South recorded it. SALT did too. Even a VLTQ entry got rescheduled. Various instruments, spread over nights, all spotted the same subtle partner moving in perfect sync. And the rude part? The event unfolded invisibly between exposures, in a time frame so narrow that routine shutter tech and subtraction algorithms overlooked it completely. Orbital calculations aligned regardless, since physics ignores the theatrics. Despite adjustments for barycentric motion, the models pointed to a hyperbolic path. Eccentricity over 1, excess speed positive. In plain terms, this guest isn't orbiting our star. The setup placed Atlas about 1. For Australian dollars from Mars. Distant from solar heat, remote from any gas giant's pull, the light source became clear through spectroscopy. Classic C2 swan bands around 516 nanometers, a faint CN signal in the violet at 388 nanometers, plus intriguing traces of CO and CO plus bands. Then the surprise hit. Nickel and cobalt signatures stronger than typical for such a tiny dust envelope. An unusual chemical trait, uncommon yet feasible. Polarized light measurements threw in more intrigue. The particles seemed oriented, not scattered, suggesting magnetic influences or stream patterns shaping the haze. The trail remained more compact than basic theories anticipate, structure amid anticipated chaos. That delivered the next shock. Comets do fragment sometimes. Shoemaker-Levy 9 stands as the famous example. Jupiter's pull shredded it into a string of pearls back in 1992. Astronomers observed 5 huge blasts on Jupiter as pieces from Shoemaker-Levy crashed into the gas giant. Bigger impacts are anticipated later this week. They dubbed it the largest blast in the solar system in centuries. 30 minutes post-first strike, the scar lingered. Debris plumes stretched thousands of miles wide and soared over 1,000 miles tall. The scientists were thrilled. We're witnessing unprecedented events and gaining tons of insights. That's the positive update this evening. Music. Music. Those fragments then pounded the world, etching lessons in flames that filled volumes. Thermal breakups occur as well, with volatile ice pockets bursting under solar warmth. Yet neither scenario matches perfectly here. Mars lacks Jupiter's tug, and at $1.40, things aren't scorching. Might long-sealed CO2 and CO deposits erupt after ages in cosmic cold? Could repeated stresses from rotation and radiation finally dislodge a chunk? Possibly. That's the reason teams deployed proven tools. For gauging dust output. Marsden's A1/A2/A3 methods to track microthrusts from jets and spin details via brightness curve analysis. Then the equations pushed back. Quick thermal models, linked to mid-infrared readings and optical brightness, suggest energy outputs that unsettle the pros. We're talking gigawatt scale, with the warranted warnings in bold. The Stefan-Boltzmann equation holds true, but factors like efficiency, size, and directionality can mislead. Even so, the discrepancy persists. A compact emitting zone, intense output, and insufficient space for normal operations. At the same time, light measurements hinted at a subtle roughly 11 Hz variation in certain datasets. Perhaps rotational pulsing, maybe repeating outbursts, or possibly a mechanism cycling in ways beyond our grasp. Should solar radiation drive it, the boosts would drop predictably as 1/ or superscript 2, with torque effects gradually altering rotation. If another force is at play, you'd see patterns less tied to range and hunt for linked shifts in both objects signaling joint influence. Enter the debate. The safe interpretation, a natural debris sequence. The main body loses a fragment. Both follow the original course. Gradually, over days or weeks, their paths diverge. Compositions shift as varied ices activate and brightness patterns wander. The daring view, deliberate deployment. The primary craft arrives, deploys a probe optimized for close-range study, and the duo maintains formation far beyond what loose debris could. If correct, one clue rises above the rest. Tight band signals around water's hydrogen line at 1,420 MHz. A few outposts whispered of a convoy pings in that area caught some odd blips. A DSN antenna picked up a slight odd spike in equipment heat. A timing array detected a tiny nanosecond wobble that flickered briefly. Nothing's been vetted by experts yet. Everything must clear the RFI checks. Yet if just one signal holds up after tuning, the whole narrative shifts its weight. Over on Mars, there are real operational headaches. Missions like MRO, MAVEN, and ESA's ExoMars TGO follow paths that aren't easy to adjust whenever news flares up. Even tiny debris poses a calculation challenge at cosmic velocities. JPL incorporated Shoemaker-Levy insights into simulations, then adjusted for Jupiter's pull, added Mars gravity and sun effects. So far, path deviations stick close to forecasts. No crazy deviations, no urgent warnings, but the particle surroundings count. Should the chunk continue flaking, Mars' high atmosphere might snag a short-lived layer of fine bits, clouding views temporarily. That's more of a timeline snag than a disaster. In orbital work, though, timelines are everything. Who's really monitoring, and what details can they grab? Hubble and JWST shine bright, but face limits too. Solar positioning blocks them from the prime viewing spots. SOHO and stereo, those sun watchers, snagtail formations, and solar wind clashes that Earthbound telescopes overlook. Parker Solar Probe and Solar Orbiter chart how the wind molds those streams. Magnetic flips, sparse zones, the sorts of traits that steer particles and squeeze paths. BAPI-Colombo's sensors provide background if alignments cooperate. Outside, outfits like VLT, Keck, Gemini, Subaru, and various country-run observatories trade off evenings, tracking CN/C2 levels, nickel signature changes, and polarization shifts in light patterns. In big event rushes, groups are dumping unprocessed data into public archives before journals even review it, since defense simulators won't hold off for slow publications. This bit could clear up debates in a flash. Check 1. Does the speedup follow a 1/or superscript 2 drop like light push, or level out suggesting propulsion? Check 2. Do the pair display matched brightness cycles or instant color shifts, like a single trigger flipped? Check 3. Does a tight signal around 1,420 MHz pop back with proper Doppler shift over various detectors and tools after tough RFI filtering? Check 4. Does the cluster stay compact past perihelion without extra fragments emerging? No fresh breakaways? No gradual spread like debris tends to do? For checks. For chances for natural forces or purpose to leave their mark. All this unfolds in a dynamic backdrop. Oumuamua zipped by in 2017 sans tail, but with a nagging extra push that still sparks debates at meetings. Frozen hydrogen chunk, icy nitrogen sliver, fluffy dust shape, solar sail idea. Take your choice. Not one clinches it. Then 2I/Borisov swung in during 2019, acting the part of a classic Comet, but with quirky makeup. CO-packed nickel hints, yet no breaking apart, no cluster antics. Those pairs shaped our baselines. Oddball traits get a pass. Fragmenting stays uncommon. 3I/Atlas just shoved those norms aside. And here we are, eyeing the impact. This doubles as a trial run for our quick action chops. The asteroid protection field has sketched fast reaction plans for ages. Now it's the real deal exercise. Info exchange channels that once trickled must now flood. Collision risk software has to swallow spectra, light measures, and grid estimates almost instantly, not after delays. Guidelines are playing catch-up, urging shared position data and readings in peak moments, avoiding any team accidentally hoarding key info. If safeguarding crewed Mars trips matters to you, this is essential prep work. And since we crave tough nuts to crack, the bold explorers join the fray. A lean solar orbit plunge with a sturdy booster could hurl a micro package into the haze quicker than tame funding allows. Pop the cover, unleash a swarm of mini-sats. One probes gases via spectrometer. One analyzes grit makeup. One sketches magnetic layouts. One probes for mirrors and echo sources. Thermal barriers, links, and steering turn it brutal, but a close-up fact nugget trumps endless guesswork from distance. Even missing this shot, the blueprint invests in the following cosmic visitor. So what's truly in play? Option A, an unusual, untimely natural breakup from a core with strange spaceborne makeup. Layers heavy in CO/CO2, metal-coated shells, particles that line up in patterned solar flow, revealing gaps in our grasp of ultra-frozen stuff. Option B, an intentional release we snag via precise positioning, linked actions, and perhaps a faint tone at 1,420 MHz post-RFI purge. Either path calls for the identical urgent stance. Track it all, release promptly, and let theories clash openly. Next up to I. If you're aiming to predict before studies drop, the acceleration profile. Grab your notepad and draw it out across our squared territory. If the real world won't follow the line, take note. The twist in polarization. When particles align sharply at phase shifts that defy standard dust simulations, magnetic influences are calling the shots. Those nickel-cobalt emissions. If they pulse brighter and dimmer in tandem between the two objects, it points to a common driver, be it chemical reactions or something more, along with that 11 Hz pulse. Should it persist, sync up in phase, or travel from one to the other, it's a telltale sign with real bite. And if a tight-frequency signal bounces back, carrying Doppler variations that align with orbital paths, expect a sharp intake of breath from the whole team right here. All the while, time marches mercilessly. Perihelion crushes the schedule. Velocities surge. Tiny mistakes sharpen into threats. If the duo stays cohesive through the solar slingshot, that defies loose debris patterns. If they spread apart and wander off, it's the familiar breakup we've witnessed countless times with shattered bits. No matter what, the incoming data release won't pull punches. This solar cycle's wind is turbulent. Parker's caught magnetic reversals wild enough to knot comet tails into twists. Craving raw science in action? This is it, unfiltered. So, a single entity split into a pair in an instant by Mars, and the cosmos didn't pause for our prep work. The smart wager remains. The universe outstrips our predictions in strangeness. I'd stake my claim on that every time. Yet the truthful stance is to await the heavens' reply. Is solar radiation scripting the speed up, or is another force gripping the tool? Are the light's signatures drifting apart, like varied ices stirring to life, or shifting as one like a lever flipped? Do we catch quiet or a precise signal on an ancient wavelength? We can't outvote this enigma away. We'll probe it with instruments. Share your top analysis in the comments. Just a routine debris chain boasting unusual ices and a knack for untimely drama. An intentional release we stumbled upon, or nomads intersecting as we debate beneath our atmospheric shield. Hit subscribe for the forecast tally in the upcoming video. The thrill of a puzzle like this only amps up when it resolves live. And keep your eyes peeled. Last time we looked away, the stars rewrote the playbook off-screen.